All right, Mike. I'm excited for this episode. For one, I like getting people from outside the line genre on the show because I think we can learn from so many different people, from everybody, really. Everybody's got something to teach us. And I appreciate when people come on and share, just what they've learned in their journey. And so, since you're more in the gas world, civil world, I've been excited to talk to you about a few things. I heard that leadership's a pretty good topic for you to talk about with you. So I'm excited to dive into that because I talk about it quite a bit on the show.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. So, because you're not from the industry, let's get some context as to who you are and a little bit of background, a little bit of context. So, where are you from? We'll start with that.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm Mike. I grew up on Vancouver Island, British Columbia here, and just went to school and came out of school, and I was like 19, and buddy's like, "Hey, you want to come into the gas world? Good job, good company, pays well, and you're a 19-year-old kid, and you're like, yeah, man, let's do it, right?" So, and that was 26 years ago. So been here ever since.
Right before that, though, we were just talking, and you played some ball.
Yep.
Let's talk about playing ball. Like, what did you? Just because, like, I was telling you a bit about my kid and kind of like the ideal person for trades work has a certain skill set, or is just like kind of a certain type of person. What does playing like team sports or playing ball in particular teach you or prep you for getting into like a trades-based job?
I think you said it there. Team sports. I started when I was just a wee whippersnapper. Single family home. Baseball was cheap. You didn't have to buy skates every other year, and so I played locally here, and right up until I graduated high school, and then I went to a little college in Iowa. Had a scholarship down there. Was a pitcher, and but just being in a group of guys that are like-minded, winning. You want to win, and how do you get there? Well, it's mentoring, it's sharing. Hey, this worked for me, or this field plays like this, and that sort of thing. So I think it's super important, not only for just growing up and understanding sort of social structures, but and then coaching. I coached my kids right up until they were, in their late teens, and you can kind of see it from a different level, where the things you're telling them can sort of be absorbed and shared with other kids, and that's a special moment. And I think I find that at work too now, where guys get inspired by being successful at a site or a certain task, and it's encouraging, and it's a cool moment for sure.
I think also like team sports, like I played a lot of ice hockey growing up. That was kind of like my thing. And so I resonate with like, it gets expensive. It's crazy. I couldn't imagine being a kid now. Like my brother still, all his kids play hockey. Mine don't really, but his kids play hockey because he's a big coach. But like the cost of shit now, not just the cost of gear, but the cost of travel, cost of like staying out of town, all of it.
For sure, especially the higher level you get to.
I can't imagine, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But one of the things like team sports, I think teaches you as well is it shows you what good leaders look like and what bad leaders look like, and you get like a little taste of that before. So like if you're just a kid and you go through high school and then you graduate and you go on to college or university, your teachers aren't really like, they're not leader. Like you're just showing up in a classroom, and like a teacher can be a leader, but I don't think it's the same as like, playing for a ball club and having a coach and assistant coach and, team captains and like other leaders around you on the daily showing you and leading, like showing you the example of what good or bad, this is how you do it. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think it gives you some experiences for life early on that I think are invaluable.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So you come back from playing ball. How did that end? You just decided to come back, or you kind of, it fizzled out, or you just...
Have you been to Iowa before?
Yeah.
And you lived in British Columbia?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, say no more.
I wasn't like the best student. I've always been super athletic in whether it was basketball or baseball or whatever sport I could get my hands on. I wanted to do it, and you know, being humble, but I was pretty good at them, and just being away from home. Super close with my two older sisters, and I just was so homesick, and I just was done.
Yeah.
So I came home, and I still played some competitive ball in Victoria. Played a couple seasons there, but I met my wife, and we had kids early. I had like 3 kids by the time I was 25, and just you get in that mode where, hey man, I'm a dad. I gotta be supportive and
Yeah.
basically provide. And so kind of transitioned from competitive baseball into just softball and competitive softball, and then just kind of got into the trade, and it was just taken off. I mean, gas didn't come to the island until like 1991, so it was just like as many cruises as you could get. We were putting pipe in everywhere, and it was really easy to kind of move up if you wanted to, and I wanted to. So
I kind of remember that push, actually, like the big gas push. Maybe go through the history of it a little bit. Like, so you say in the early 90s, gas like kind of came into the province.
Yeah.
Right?
onto the island specifically.
Onto the island.
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's under the ocean up through Texade Island and over
Gotcha.
to Comox under the water there, and
And there was a big push to get it in everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's massive influx of gas guys.
Yeah. I don't know, it's funny, like just thinking about change, how safety has progressed into this great big thing. Sometimes it hinders you, sometimes it feels like it's like, what's this for? But back in the day, I remember wearing like a wife beater with a fucking vest that barely covered your chest, and your hard hat was beside you because you're doing hard labor, right? But it's just funny how it changes, and in a good way.
Yeah.
But you think back and it's like, holy shit, man, we were doing that back then, going in a hole that was deep and maybe not short or sloped like it should be, and some close calls that you think back and go, oh, that could have been a lot worse, or got away with one kind of thing. So and then we just sort of spread out. We were working on the whole island in Vancouver and in Kelowna. We worked in Calgary.
Was this with CUC at the time too?
Yeah, we were kind of...
How many people did you have at that time?
I think kind of in the 2000s, we were like 400.
Wow.
Yeah. Major crews in Vancouver. Like I said, we'd go up to Whistler, Squamish area, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. I worked in Manitoba for like 6 months, but totally different mindset of installation, like lots of directional drilling. We did some port party work. We're doing, the power, telecommunications, street lighting, and the gas at the same time. Yeah, one big trench and just gas is on one side, power's on the other, gets your separation. And it was kind of neat to kind of experience that. I mean, I didn't love it.
Yeah. You didn't love the travel to Manitoba part, or you didn't?
I didn't love that.
Yeah.
I didn't love the geography of it,
Mm-hmm.
coming from here. Not a flatlander kind of guy, so when you don't see a mountain or a big tree, it makes you homesick. So
I spent a lot of time working in Texas, and I get asked that question quite a bit. Like, would you move to Texas? And I was like, I always say like, yes. I really love Texas. I absolutely love it. I love the culture. I love the people. Like, I love a lot of things about Texas, but it's hard to move to somewhere like that when you are from here. I have a couple of friends that both Mac and Chris, they're from here. Like, they're literally like from right here, and they live in Texas now, and I know they struggle with it. They've adopted to it, and they appreciate it for the same sort of thing that it is. It's a great place, but it's difficult to do. I know it is difficult for them too.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, how's your leadership style evolved since have you always kind of been a leader, been a foreman for the crew, or how did that like evolution go?
Like I say, I had a buddy who wanted to
Yeah.
come work for us. I'm like, sure. So I started with the shovel, just laboring. I think you gain a lot of perspective from that lower role, seeing operators and truck drivers and foremen. So our labeling is a little different on the gas side here. A foreman is a crew leader. I think Alltech calls it like a sub foreman.
Sure.
And then a general foreman, we don't have any anymore, but they would oversee multiple crews. And then,
In a sense, is that kind of what you're doing now? Ish?
I'm a superintendent, but I
Okay.
kind of manage the area. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, so labored for a little bit. And then our progression is typically, if the guy wants to, he would go into a fuser role, which does all the pipe work procedurally wise and mounts meters and gasifies systems and stuff like that. So I wanted to do that right away. Just it was super interesting.
Is that like the thing that guys want to do when they get into it? It's like they want to.
I think some do, but I think there's definitely an essence of responsibility, and like this is on me to do it the right way. But I like that challenge and undertook it. And yeah, I was a fuser for like a number of years. It's tough to pinpoint the years now after 25,
Sure,
but
sure.
I think it was like five years or so. And then I'm like, okay, that's fun. And then I moved into the operator role. So I ran machines, excavators, backhoes, bobcats, all that fun stuff for a few years. And then being the guy in the ditch who's working in the hole, he kind of gives you a sense of, okay, it needs to be this big or this safe or
Yeah, you're the guy also.
yeah.
in there.
So yeah. And then I ran crews, so evolved into a foreman. Ran crews in the Mid-Island, on the Sunshine Coast. Worked in Victoria for like 10 years. So really got to know the city well. Obviously, it's kind of like Kelowna. It's busy. It's lots of traffic and stuff going on that can just add different challenges in your day and your work execution. But I remember being like in the lower roles and having crew leaders that would yell and scream, and you were talking about the cowboy there who would, yell at people, and that never worked for me.
Yeah.
I think even in sports where if you have someone that comes up to you and it's like, what the fuck you doing? And like, you got to do it this way, but if they come into a situation where it's just like low voice tone and it's like
Straight up.
speaking to a heartfelt way where you can understand.
Yep.
Same with the gas side, where I've had guys like throwing hard hats and like fucking breaking a shovel, and so it's like, dude, I'm not getting it, man. Like, you want me to do that, but like, if I'm gonna get that result, like, no thanks. So when I moved into the leadership role, I felt like I needed to communicate in a way that people would understand and get motivated through, and because that's always worked for me, and I know it works for a lot of people. Especially in incidents. I think as we're digging in the ground, there's a lot more chance that we're going to hit something that's unknown. And like, we've hit water mains and fiber optic lines, and I've been on the call phoning a manager saying, hey, this happened, and going like, what the fuck, didn't you know that was there? And now when I receive those calls, I've been the guy on the other end and saying, it's okay, man. Have you made the area safe? Like what's done is done. Like, I'm not gonna rub salt.
Is everybody okay?
Yeah.
You're safe. Okay,
And
let's
like,
deal with
okay,
it.
let's work on getting it fixed and making the right calls. And I don't know. I just think it keeps people motivated. And it's like, if something happens, I'm not gonna get fired and be up shit creek, essentially. So that's how I've seen that leadership role evolve. And I'm just a super chill guy. I don't get heated very often. I'm kind of, I wouldn't say monotone, but I get it. And I've done it. I've been there. And I want you to go home and be with your kids or catch your tea time at 4 o'clock or whatever, right? Like, it's more of a family. It feels like of a brotherhood that guys just have the same goal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Get very similar to the line trade. And that's why I was like asking you about baseball as well. Like, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, you got these experiences in team sports of like a leader executing one way and another way, like executing in the way of like coming up to you and yelling and screaming and you understanding like this isn't how you make change happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one that you respected and come up to you and did it the right way that, made it sink in with you. And you're like, okay, cool. I can learn from this. I can fix what, needs to get fixed and work on it.
For sure. Yeah.
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 What's the most important responsibility of a foreman beyond getting the work done?
Underground's challenging. So like in BC here, we get all our own locates. They're like emailed to us, or they're in a package that we get for a work order. So identifying where those are. So we do all our own electromagnetic locating.
Yep.
Not easy. Comes with lots of experience, and
Switch it.
I've done that, man, and I've been like on it. But sometimes you're like, oh, it's right here, and then you're like above a 3-phase. You're like, nah, I don't know about that. Like maybe it's something coming from above. But so I think it's pre-planning is a big thing. So right when they show up, the foreman's doing locates. He'll do his hazard assessment beforehand and share that with the guys, but then kind of gets them going on some rudimentary tasks, and then he'll get the locates going. And I think it's just important to know what your full job scope is, and they don't really understand that until they really get to site. And I try to share that with him through photos and my experience with the specific areas. And it just seems to work.
Yeah.
But it's a key role in their job for that day.
What separates a good leader from a bad leader?
I think they gotta get along. We talked about that earlier. Where how you communicate to your crew. Communication is such a huge portion, and how they communicate. And if something doesn't go around or go the way they anticipate, it's the reaction. If you got guys throwing things or fucking swearing and cussing and shouting at people, you're not going to get the buy-in and the motivation. And people are going to be scared, and they're going to be like, not tell you what happened. We want people to be open and honest. Go ugly early and just say like, hey, I fucked up, and then we can catch it and go and move forward. You don't want to be like pulling into the yard and say, hey man, I think I broke something, or it just creates a ton of inefficient time. So
If I want to become a good communicator, what do I have to do?
good communicator. I think you just got to speak from the heart. If you don't understand, you don't understand. Some of the new guys that come in, it's like I say, like if you're explained a task and you don't understand fully, like you're talking about with your son, like here's a piece of paper with a procedure, go do it. Like, I don't fucking know, like that means nothing to me. Can you show me? I think to be a communicator, it's like you need to be able to find different ways to communicate that people can understand depending on the personality that you're in that day, and be able to show and not just speak, but kind of mentor and show through your actions.
I bring up communication on pretty much every podcast, because I think it's like one of those topics that when I get feedback from people in the real world that have listened to the show, or just like guys in the real world that are actually doing the jobs we do every day, it's one of those threads that everybody talks about. They'll mention it to me. It's like they'll always be like, I like how you talk about communication styles and I really apply some of those things to what I do. So like that's why I try to bring it into every show, because it's such a big, vast topic that I don't think there's any like one way to say this is the way.
Right.
It's like little things that people learn, and like little things that people do to apply communication tactics to what they do. I don't know. So it's just like, that's awesome. If somebody can use that little nugget out there and start applying it, because communication is like the most important thing.
Yeah.
Good communication is the most important thing. But there's so many different ways to use, like, I guess there's so many different tools for good communication. So it's like, I like to learn, like, what are people using for tools? Like, what works best for you? Like picking up the phone and calling somebody face to face, just making sure you're texting or get group text. Like there's so many different ways to communicate.
So many. Yeah. I think it's For me, it's the phones and the way we communicate with texting and sending pictures. I think if you have a conversation on the phone, like you can go in one ear or the other depending on if you're distracted, or could be multiple things. But I think if you send a message, you have time to type it out. You have time to think about it.
Gotcha.
Someone has time to accept it, read it, absorb it, and if they have questions,
Sure.
followed up by some pictures, like say job specific. Um, uh, Definitely changed from years ago where you'd get a file folder and it's like, oh, okay, you know. I think that's been a huge part of creating some efficiencies on our end of things.
I talked about this a bit with Dean yesterday. We were talking about thinking about the best leaders that you've worked for or worked with, and they all had some reason why you go. Like if I asked you who's the best leader you ever worked for, I bet you could just pick that name out and go, this guy. It's this guy for sure, 100%. I would have done anything for him. Why? What did they have? What do they possess?
I think knowledge and just about what we're doing. I could ask him a question and I know I'd get a knowledgeable answer that he had a firsthand experience with.
Sure.
And I think coming at me with those characteristics that I explained before, just about a calm demeanor, you know, like, and a friend, like not like an ivory tower type guy coming and saying, hey, do this, that, and the other thing, or yeah.
Yep. What separates a foreman who earns respect from one who just gives orders? It's kind of some of the things you just said, but is there anything else?
Usually when I bring up a foreman who's a guy that's like the guy, he's done really well. I think he's really led by example. I think in our work, it's so physical, and you can have like those guys that, you know, do work for 5 minutes, and I like historically, and they'll go sit in the truck and do what they're calling, you know, some computer work or this and that, but then there's guys sweating outside. So I think when the leader of the group is working just as hard as the lowest paid guy, it creates such synergy that it's unmatched. And we have those guys that just want to work, that want to, you know, they see the efficiency, they want to either mentor or show the new guy, or they just like getting dirty and doing the work. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch.
This maybe ties into this next question. Maybe it's the answer for this next question too. But how do you keep a crew motivated? Like especially when shit's like you have some seasons here in this area that are pretty shitty, like rain, weather-wise, for example.
Yeah.
Like day after day, month after month, just fucking rain.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Thank God it's a rock around here, not mud everywhere, like in the middle of the country. But how do you keep guys motivated?
I think they generally like working here. It's funny, over the years and over the seasons, whether it's cold or hot or wet, as like you said, I've had guys go away and work in other industries locally here and come back saying, I didn't know what I had until it was gone. You know, kind of the grass is greener on the other side of the fence,
Yeah.
You know? But in that scenario, it's how much you water it too, right? So I think I'm all about giving praise when praise is due. I know they get a paycheck. I mean, I've heard that before. It's like, well, they don't eat a box of chocolates every week. They get their paycheck, but I think it's more than that when you work so closely with people, and you need to get to know them. You need to know what their family's up to, and a genuine thank you.
Yeah.
And like, I appreciated that. You went above and beyond, and I try to do that as much as I can. And the guys are just like, whatever, man, it's all good. It's just part of the job, or it was just a shitty job and we just got through it. But and sometimes there's a nice customer compliment that'll come in, and it's just so nice to hear. And I'll usually share it with her, you know?
How else do you build trust and connection with the crew?
You mean like at the foreman level or like my level?
Just from your level, like any level really, like even from your past when you're just digging ditches or whatever, how do you help build trust? And like, I guess it's a culture question too, right? Like, how do you create good crew culture, whether it's safety culture, whether it's just like having a good time, brotherhood, like whatever you want to call that, just synergy.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes easier at some points in your career than it is with others. Not to say that it's always been perfect, but I think the guys we have now have essentially been here for a long time, and they like what they do, and they get along with each other both on and off the field. And I don't know, man. Like they don't take a ton of breaks, but they'll work till 10. They'll go out and get some ice caps and some Timmies and just have a half an hour of bullshit.
Yeah.
Talking about this, that, and the other day.
It's crazy how like just allowing that can like make things more productive and happier and just like safer even, because guys are talking and communicating, right? Like that's a communication tool that itself, right?
For sure.
Just
Yep.
letting guys fucking blow off steam.
Yeah, and I
chill.
usually keep like the same groups together for the most part, so they really gain this sense of friendship, and that's what I always enjoyed. It was, you spend half your life with these guys compared to your family some days, right? So it's they're essentially your family away from home, and you just get along with them. Yeah.
And trades are hard, and this is one thing in the line trade too, is like if you had that part of the day that was like 15 minutes, half an hour, where you knew you got to go get like a hot coffee in the winter, or like something, you knew you were looking forward to something, right? And you had kind of like, when it's dark and shitty and cold and miserable or whatever the scenario, or you just been hot, worked, busting your ass all day, you got something to kind of look forward to midday and near the end of the day, whatever, is that like little break where you get to like chill with the guys, just bullshit,
Yeah.
drink a coffee, and
they'll still talk about how shitty the work is some days, and then they just get out and grind it out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, like you guys are fucking unreal. So
yeah.
it inspires me to just keep planning and keep, making the jobs as simple as I can for them. And so it's not as bad,
Yeah.
but they're not always pretty.
How do you handle a conflict and like tension? What's your approach to conflict?
I got a couple scenarios for you. Like, it's different if you have like two guys in a crew that are not meshing.
Yep.
We're all adults here, and I think encourage them to talk about it, and just express, like, it could be somebody having a really shitty day. Maybe something happened with their family or something, right? So there's that aspect, but I deal with a lot of conflict with customers and
Sure.
different areas of municipalities per se, where there's conflicts and people are pissed off that we're loud or we're making noise or their car's dusty or something, and you're usually at fault, or proposed to be at fault. And like I said, I'm super level-headed and don't get too bent out of shape, and I just deal with it and just go in with the mindset that it's usually a funny story. So we were working in Oak Bay in Victoria, this really well-off subdivision. This lady had to move her car out of her driveway because we were cutting through her driveway. Nice old Jag. And so I went up to the door, knocked on the door, and she's like, "I am not moving that car into the street. Do you know how expensive that car is?" I'm like, "It's a nice Jag, I get it. But like, do you need to get out today? Because otherwise, like, it's not a big deal." And she's like, "I need to get out. I gotta go get something from the grocery store." I'm like, "No problem. Like, can you move the car out to the out to the road?" And she was like adamant, like, "No." Anyways, she did, and she was not happy about it. So I went to the store. I was a crew leader at the time. Got a bouquet of flowers. Went back to her doorstep the next day, and I just said, "Here's some flowers for you." I said, "I really appreciated you just taking the car out. I know it seemed like a huge deal, but it really made our work a lot easier, and I appreciate that you do that for us." And she said, "Mike, I'm really sorry for my attitude yesterday. She said my husband had passed away the year before, and it was his car, and there was this connection.
Yeah.
And I always remember that sort of situation, because it's like, just because I'm having a good day doesn't mean somebody else is. And if someone is in a really horrible mood and reflecting that onto me, it's not my fault. I'm just Joe Blow on the street. But I think when you can kind of dig into it and get to know somebody, whether you're going to see that person again or not, but to make it a bit more personal, I've always just thought back to that time, because I've been in a lot of situations where I can get my chest puffed up and feel like it wasn't my fault, but it's not about me. It's about the persona of Canadian Utility, and we're a reputable company, and I want people to see our trucks drive down the street and go like, remember that guy, and they're a good company.
Yeah.
So
I always liked, honestly, I kind of always liked the challenge of turning somebody's mindset from a negative one towards you to somewhat of a positive one, if you could.
Yep.
Very similar scenario. I was working up north in Quesnel, and we were doing a energized 500 kV bare hand job, and we were using helicopters, and the power line goes right through this guy's big property, and this guy was being a head case, threatening everybody that came near us to shoot the helicopters out of the sky.
Wow.
Like, he was just like ignorant to work with. So we're rolling up to our time to go through this guy's property, and I got all these stories like, he's going to be a hassle to deal with, you need to go there, you might need to go there with the police, like all this kind of stuff, right? I just went and knocked on his door, just said who I was, what I was about to do, and he right away, same scenario, like, back against this wall, you're not
defensive.
just defensive. And so I was like, okay, just got his name. That was my first interaction. Went to the store, come back with, it was right before Christmas, come back with 2 big jugs of Baileys, like the biggest ones, like with a handle.
60 pounders,
Yeah. And I just brought him to the door. I said, you know what? I don't care if this helps, it doesn't help, whatever, just like Merry Christmas, here you go, kind of thing. And the gates were open the next morning. Just open for us. Big sign, come on in. Left us alone.
Okay.
Like, completely.
Yeah.
We got to go in, do our job. We actually got to save the cost of the helicopters because we didn't have to fly it. Now we could climb the showers.
Cool. Yeah.
And just all because just like, we're kind. And like, come bearing gifts.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not here to make your life miserable. We're going to leave this place the same as we, showed up.
Yeah.
I promise you.
And tough this day and age when everything is so reactive.
Yeah.
And you can post
Yeah.
something in a second, and I think you're almost on a bit more on edge, because you know that you could be.
It's crazy, right? Like, just be kind to people sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't always fly. I know. You still could get shot out of the sky, but but hopefully not.
Yeah.
Just be kind. What are some traits and habits you look for in someone that you want to work with long term?
Traits is like a good work ethic. If, like you say, our work day starts at 6:30, and like if I'm 20 minutes early, I feel like I want somebody to be ready for the day, show up ready to work and be prepared. Especially as a leader, I think it's important to kind of know what you're getting into that day. Comes with the habits, right? Like, it could be a baseball game. Are you going to show up at 6:45 for a 7 game, or are you going to show up at 6 and put the time in to be ready? And then leading by example. I said that earlier, but I think it's such a huge trait to. It becomes a habit because people see that and they want to sort of, hey, what's he doing? I gotta get over there and do that too. And I think it's a good trait and a good habit to kind of get into, to show that you're willing and wanting to work.
What advice do you give to young people that find this trade for the first time, or like want to get into it?
I just hired a kid the other day, and he's kind of asked me, what do I expect in a day? And I'm like, it's gonna be fun, man. You're gonna learn a ton. But I think a key point is like, you're gonna have 4 guys around you that are wanting to share and willing to share, and are gonna jump in and do something that they've asked you to do or they've done before. So it's exciting, and but I just try to tell them I was there, I've been there, and it can be a great place for you.
When you kind of give them that talk the first day and you're like, okay, this is what you can expect and what you can't expect, what are those things? Like, what are those expectations? Like, what is a kid expected to do when he goes out on the job or not do? Or what should he, like, you know, how should they be that first day, that first week?
Yeah, I think even up to the first month, there's just so many new tools. So many things that we do that people don't see, just even in a civil world. Our jobs our work is some kind of niche area, right, where
Yeah.
you don't see it too often. So a lot of it is just, look, listen, and learn, and just ask questions. Yeah, you're going to do a simple task, but you could be asked to do this, that, and the other thing, and you always play jokes with the kids. Some days go get this tool that doesn't make any fucking
Pipe
sense.
stretcher.
Yeah, like it's hilarious, right? So I've been that guy that's been to the van and being like, fuck, I got to get this thing, and scratch my head, and you come back and everybody's just laughing at you like you're an idiot. But
To tighten the swivel on the
but
crate.
it creates some character, right? Where it's
When it clicks, it's funny. Like when it clicks with them, like,
yeah. And then depending on how long they stay around for, they could be doing the same thing in a couple of years to somebody else, and
guaranteed.
Yeah.
What about that new, the guy that wants to move into a leadership position? What do you tell them is the best route to get there?
I know it comes with time, but not that we do the same thing every single day. I think there's lots of geographical changes, and but you got to put the time in. But I think there's that guy that has it, that asks the questions, that wants to be better, and not that he's bad, but that he's on a different level. Some guys just want to do the same job and like the responsibility they have, and but I think you can see it, and you want to give those guys, they're just sponges, right? You want to give them information and put them on a challenging job so that they feel like their cup's getting filled,
I love that, how you said that person that wants to be better. I think that's key. I like, how much of it is like stuff that you have to do on yourself, like after hours, even, like work on yourself, like self-study, or just, pick up a leadership book, pick up a self-development book, or whatever. How much of it is that?
I don't know. I don't know if I've heard of lots of guys doing that, because I think it's more personal for them.
Sure.
I think if they want to do that, there's so much great material out there.
Yep.
I don't know if they've shared that with me per se, but yeah, I think we've done some leadership training, and you learn these different personalities, and it's like how to deal with someone that's a driver that like just needs to be, you're full on ADHD, that he can't sit still, and how do you keep them focused? And I've worked with those guys, and they are great workers, and it just comes to them, but you have to keep feeding them, right?
Gotcha.
But tons of resources out there, I think, nowadays, where you can pick up a cool podcast somewhere online, maybe, and see the, I talked to you about Reggie Probst this morning, and his story, and how these horses, just pull together after working together for some time. I think when you're on a team that is really efficient and works well together, guys want to like get to that next level so that they can be the leader of their own team.
Sure.
So maybe it's not reading a book, but maybe it's just their experience and figuring out for themselves what they look like as a leader.
Yep. What does that not look like? Like, what do some people do wrong when they get to that spot? That's like something you'd advise against.
I think you got to kind of start out slow. Don't put too much expectations on yourself to be, this bright and shiny guy who's going to make every perfect decision. I think a lot of my success has been through failure.
Sure.
And you've probably heard, but if a mistake is an opportunity to learn.
Yep.
And I know I've made a lot of those, but I think it's created just a bigger picture for me in my day-to-day, where you're going to come up with a conflict and you've dealt with it before, so it's like you can go into it so you're not so nervous or on edge about it. But it just comes with time.
How do you balance like the pressures of production with responsibility? Just
I talked a little bit about our productivity this morning, but I think when you're into a good contract where you can relax a little bit, knowing that you're going to be productive, it really takes a lot of the edge off. And years ago, you had to be competitive bidding jobs and projects, and it wasn't always easy to make money, and you had to just really get jobs done quickly. And I think that pressure can really be detriment to, you talk about your 3 pillars: efficiency, productivity, and safety. It could take away one of those things. I know some of our previous managers have talked about, you take one of those pillars away, one of those legs away off your stool, and something's going to fail. So I think now we've got this stool with 3 legs, and we're working quite well on each one of those, and it shows by the efficiency and the profit that you're making.
So has there been times where it's like not been as good?
I would say yes.
And then how did you work through that time?
Well, I think the work hasn't really changed, like procedurally wise. Sure, we've got new fittings and we use kind of some different procedures for hooking up some gas lines, but at the end of the day, you're digging a ditch and you're putting a pipe in it and you're back.
But how do you get through that time? And not want to just like pack it in, switch career, switch jobs, say I can't do this kind of thing. How do you keep going through that, I guess? Because you guys have seen some pretty hard times, I guess, if you look at like we were talking about this morning as well, like you look at what's happened with gas in Canada and just this not wanting to do anything with regards to energy and utilities. Like, it's been hard. You've had to like lay guys off. You've had to go through some hard shit in the last few years here, a couple years anyway. How do you get through that?
It's a good question. I've been asked that a few times.
You just do?
Like I said, I started here when I was 19, and it just feels like a home to me. I've let some really great people go, some mentors of mine go, and if I'd told you I was happy 2 years ago, I'd be lying to you. But I stick around because I like who I'm working for now. I think our executive team is a bunch of really great guys that get me, that are common sense about stuff. And I felt like if I did go anywhere, like I'd be letting the guys that I've been working with and mentoring and building those leaders, like what does that say to them?
Mm-hmm.
And I like what I do.
Yeah.
And that's what's got me around.
Mental health is something I've been threading into most episodes as well, just because it's such a, like, personally had, quite a few people I've worked with in the trades struggle to the point of like actually losing them kind of thing. So I think it's like a good thing just to talk about. It's a good subject to talk about on every episode. Just learn from what people do to, get through tough times, or just like get through times. Like sometimes it's not even tough times. It's just get through the day. What do you do outside of work, during work, whatever, to just like work on your mental health?
Yeah, I mean, communication is key. Thinking so many different just podcasts or marriage help tools or sports, like communication is key. A marriage is not always easy without openly communicating. And I think I still play lots of ball. I've been golfing a lot more these days.
Cool.
So I find that is an avenue for, it's funny because I golf with this group of guys. They're like from 65 to 70 on Friday nights.
You just want
And I just, like, my buddy golfs with him and he's like, hey, last month, a month and a half ago, he's like, hey, we need a guy to fill this 8-some. And I was like, yeah, well, I'll come on board, right? And after being with this group for the past couple months, I've noticed, like, it doesn't matter if you're 75 or you're 45, like a guy is still a guy, and he's still gonna like harp on a guy and like, why are you putting with your purse, or just, it's hilarious. But I've found with golf is like, you're in a cart with somebody or you're walking down the fairway with somebody, you have a pretty deep conversation. And I think it's whether it's in your day-to-day work life or if it's in your home life, you need an outlet to talk about things. My brother-in-law has been like a best friend to me. We talk Monday mornings, Friday mornings, every morning. Like, we've got this call at 6 in the morning. At 5:45, he'll call me. He works in Alberta for a big kind of gas company up there. And we just shoot the shit. And he's a manager, I'm a manager, and we just sort of strategize. And it's been pretty huge for me to be able to just know somebody on a level, but have sort of the same sort of leadership tactics, and be able to share. So that's how I do it. And our kids are adults. My youngest is 20 and my oldest is 26, and they're all just friends. Yeah, they're kids, but it's so cool to share. I feel like I'm young, but to share with my kids now getting into trades and stuff, to share my experiences, and not only be a dad, but be someone you could talk to on a kind of a dude level,
I love that. That thing you said about golf too, about getting in a golf cart and just like you have this moment to talk to somebody about something. And I was just thinking about that. I think the aspect of that's like really cool is you just have a few moments to kind of get out what you need to get out too. Like you gotta, you'll get back in the cart, but you're going from point A to point B, and it's only going to take you 30 seconds to 2 minutes to get there, to your ball. And then everybody's got to get out, and you got to like do something, and then you get back in, but it kind of like breaks the combo up. So you got to, like, if you're trying to say something, you kind of got to get it out, and it forces the other person to kind of like shut up and listen for a second too. Yeah. Because if you interrupt, like, that's it. You're at the ball, and you got to get out, and you got to do your thing. So that's kind of neat. It kind of forces you to listen. It kind of forces you to, explain what you need to explain relatively quick.
Yeah. And I find when, like you said there, when the guy gets cut off because he's got to go shoot, and it gives the person like me who's hearing it, or vice versa, time to sort of digest and then come back
100%.
with, hey man, I was thinking about what you said earlier, and like, I got a buddy who's going through some stuff, and I'm just like, call me anytime, man, if like, whatever. And it's just so important. And guys, I think you probably grew up too in the industry where guys are tough and they don't cry, and you got to be this big guy with a tough shell. And I think we've tried to break that down over the years and just be like, we got hearts too, man, and I can cry just as good as the next guy. And you don't have to be ashamed about it.
Yeah, they always try to feed you this line of BS that you don't bring your shit to work. And I was always like, how do you not bring it to work? Like, it's there with you. It's not like you can just leave it on the freaking doorstep before you enter the driveway at work. Like, it comes with you. So,
and you can see it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like when the guy comes up and he's...
You're not faking it, man. Like, you're not fooling anybody. We can see you're struggling. We see that your head's not in the game. And for us, it's the same as you. Like, we got to go up in that 3-phase all day. I got to go up there with you. If you're thinking about other shit, like, can we talk about this for a second, and how maybe we should invite somebody else to come up there with me today? And not just for me, but for you. Like, you're gonna do something that's off, or have the potential of doing something that's off that might hurt you or me or somebody else. And when we can avoid this, so like, you just got to talk about it.
And you don't need to know the whole story, but if you can, it can help and be an ear. Or
that's the other thing too, is like, I was always like, I could get you to a certain, like, I could help You know, I could help be like a listener, but like I'm not a therapist. Like I'm not going to be able to offer you some worldly wisdom and advice, maybe a little bit here and there, but you might have to like go see somebody professionally. But we could talk about that.
For
Like
sure. Yeah.
I could help you do that. I'm happy to help you do that if that's the thing that you needed to get there, just to get through this. Because man, some of these guys, like I wish they were still here, because some of them, that's all they needed, was just needed some professional guidance to like see it in themselves and go, okay, well, yeah, you know, I need to switch this,
For sure.
or this, or that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a friend that took his own life when I was like 18. And I think it was just like you said, people didn't talk, and you know, you kick yourself wondering I could have done more, and maybe if I talked, or you know, and as you get older, you sort of work through life challenges, and it sort of sets you up for the next one, and maybe makes it seem easier, or like you have a way through it, right?
How do you check? Do you use any certain tactic when you check in with guys on the crew? Do you just go up to them and say, how are you doing? Or like, is there anything you do specifically?
Not specifically. I think it's just coming up like, you know,
Yeah.
you notice something. I'm like, what's up? You know, are you doing okay? Or can I do anything for you? Or do you need the day? Or, yeah. We just had a safety meeting this week, and some of our numbers had changed for, we'll call it mental health, but, you know, therapy, or, you know, help type numbers. And we want people to know that, like, you can do it totally confidential. I don't need to know it, but like, we want you to not struggle. And this is totally available. Like, use it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no shame in it, because everybody's always going through something.
Okay, switching gears, what does the future of this trade, this industry look like in Canada?
Well, I think the past couple of years has been challenging. You know, we had numerous crews, and then we were just told like, hey, you don't have any work. And so we got to this point where governments were telling people through the TikToks and YouTube and different platforms that, you know, gas is bad. And there's been a bit of a shift lately. And I think, you know, exporting LNG is something we need to do, and provide other countries with the resource that we have a ton of to burn clean energy. But I think locally, lots of people just want the choice to be able to choose. You know, they don't have to buy a $30,000 heat pump. They can purchase a cheaper furnace and still have the same effect, right? And using it dual fuel appliances that use both electricity and gas. There's a lot more options now, and I think the gas industry has recognized that and tried to adapt and get into these new avenues that they can get back out there. And there's been some, you know, revolving doors with municipalities now saying, you know, if gas is okay and you can use it, whereas before, 2 years ago, it was like, no, you can't use it at all. Especially with new builds, you know, using gas as your primary heat was a no-go. You could only have it for a fireplace, this, that, and the other thing. And so the rhetoric is changing a little bit, which is good. We're getting a little bit busier. I don't think it's going to be a switch overnight, but it's looking better than it was a year and a half ago anyways.
Is there anywhere that looks like a bigger opportunity than other places?
I know Southern BC is pretty busy. I don't know too much about kind of the other provinces. We've just been out of those provinces for too many years to really know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about? That's kind of the end of what I had for you for questions.
No, I'm just like fired up to be part of the Powerline podcast. I know it's like I'm a gas guy, and I don't necessarily feel like I'm a redheaded stepchild. I think the past couple of years we've had yards that have been amalgamated with Alltech and CSE, and I've really got the opportunity to work closely with sub-foremen and different yards and share tools, and you know, we'll help with the kick and set with some of our guys, and it's and we've changed unions, so now we're IBW as well.
Oh, cool.
So we can
Well, that's good.
work together. Yeah, it's great, and just getting to know people.
Like I said at the beginning, man, like there's so much that we can learn and benefit from each other, that trades shouldn't stay just secluded to like one trade or another. There's so much like cross-pollination, you know what I mean? There's so many things that we do that is the same that you guys do or learn, or like in these sort of things in particular, like leadership, communication, like these sort of like, soft skills or whatever you want to call them. There's so much crossover, so there's so much to benefit from.
Like last year we got into some storm. We that big one in Florida. We sent a couple guys that are like just class 1 drivers. They drive a dump truck. They can run a machine, but they're like, hey, you got any guys that would go? Because it's like, we need to know right now. So we had a couple guys go for a couple weeks, and they were they felt a bit like a tit on a bull, you know, kind of like, okay, we're a gas guy working with some power line guys, but it was a really great experience for them. And I've already had guys ask this year, like, hey, I'd be willing to go back. I've never done it personally, but I think
it's great.
I think it's such a cool,
especially now that you outreach, because you're both the same union.
Right? Yeah, man.
Very cool. Well, thanks, Mike.
You're very welcome.
I hope you guys got some value out of that episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I just want to draw your awareness to a couple of other things. So we make these podcasts, yes, but it's not the only thing that we put out as far as content. Our social medias are full of valuable cuts from the podcast itself, as well as just a bunch of other educational stuff and entertainment. So go follow us at Powerline Podcast on all social media platforms. And then also YouTube. I don't think that a lot of you are aware of this, but we don't just load these podcasts onto YouTube. We also make vlogs, which are super educational, entertaining, great place to direct people to learn about the industry, learn about the trade, or just learn about what's going on within either Quanta or the Powerline industry in general. So hit up our YouTube channel. Again, it's at Powerline Podcast. You can catch those vlogs on there. We also load a bunch of other extra content in video form. We try to up the quality every time we do this. We try to up that quality. So hit up the YouTube channel. Make sure you're subbed to all those platforms. Appreciate you guys. Hope to see you again soon. We'll see you again soon. Peace.